Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to be showing you how to use compound components and style components. So if you're new to the channel, feel free to take a look at some of the videos. I did the Todoist video where I rebuilt Todoist. I've also done the GraphQL video recently, the Hacker News video, which was pretty popular and pretty cool to do, that uses a Hacker News API and style components. But yeah, Happy New Year, and we'll start off the new year with this video showing you how to use compound components and style components. This one's going to be fairly trivial. I'm not going to get into context when it comes to using compound components. It's fairly simple to do that if you want to be sharing state between inner components and outer components, so parent and child. Feel free to use context to do that. If you need any help, just ask in the description and I can put together a small snippet and show you how to do it. But essentially what we're going to be doing is we have this image on the left where we've seen this probably a bunch of times. We'll have a bunch of components. So we've got the card image, the card body, the card title, the card text, and it just seems far too granular for me. It seems that we'll end up with like maybe passing 10, 15 props into a component, which is outrageous, and we probably shouldn't be doing that at this stage. We should look at that and think something's wrong here. The implementation of our parent component's wrong. It's not at this stage at the moment, but I can imagine if we get to the title or maybe the card itself, maybe we want to center the card, maybe we want to put it to the left, maybe we want to put it to the right, or maybe we want to just make modifications to the title. Maybe we don't want to show the title, so we'd have to pass a prop for the title. Likewise with the button and the text, maybe we don't want to show these, but we could always pass a prop down and then do a validation check to see if it's there, and if it's not there, then don't show these. But I much prefer this style on the right, where we're using a dot notation and we're using static properties to be able to just have full control and encapsulate what's going on within our component. So for example, on the right here, what we've got is we've got a basic card, and I'm going to show you the postcard, and for the sake of time I'm just going to most likely just paste in the CSS, because this is not a CSS video. I just want to quickly show you how compound components work. So what we're doing, we're just using a dot notation to access, say, the title in this case, and if I didn't want the title or if I didn't want the button, I just wouldn't bring in that particular piece. And I don't have to create like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 components just to be able to do this. We can manage all this from one file. So moving on, this is what we're going to be creating, just 3 basic postcards. I'm going to be using a data file to pull out like the title, the image, and likewise with the button as well. Bootstrap will be more than likely used in this. I'm going to just be doing the demonstration with a few things that we're going to be installing, so like React app, class names, Node Sass, style components, and I'll show you how to install that in Yarn and also npm. So yeah, this is what we're going to be building. Please do not get hooked on the CSS or anything but what I'm just trying to teach you here. That's compound components. So let's take a look at the next slide, and let's begin with installing our dependencies. So let's go ahead and just use, this is the Yarn scenario. So if you're using Yarn, just install these 4 packages basically. I'm going to skip Bootstrap actually, we're not going to use it. Let's just use some pure CSS in this case, because we're going to be using style components anyways, and it'd be quite messy to use both. So this is the Yarn dependencies, and it's just yarn add, and at the top if you've got React app we're going to be using that too. But yeah, if you're using npm, go ahead and install using npm with these commands. npx up top, if you don't know about npx, just give it a quick Google and you'll hopefully you're on the latest version and you should be able to get all that stuff. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Install those and we'll get into it. We'll go through the code. I'll show you how to do it. It's fairly trivial, and I think you'll enjoy this for maybe like creating a design library or managing certain components where you don't want to have to create child components just for stuff like text and body and all that trivial stuff. Like I said, if you are new here, leave a comment. Let me know what video you'd like to see next. It really does help. Not just to come up with ideas, but I like to have that community aspect in the comment section, and I like to talk to people. So feel free to leave a comment. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, all the details are in the description. And please, if you like this video, drop it a like and subscribe. Moving on, let's look at the code. So here we are, we've got a basic Create React app. It's something you've probably seen before, to be honest. I've got a data file here, and just for the sake of time within this video, I'm just going to paste in some data. So it's just an array of objects. I've got 3 objects in here, which is going to represent the cards basically. So title, image, description, alt, CTA text, and a rating. I haven't implemented the rating, but feel free to go ahead and add some code in there for that. So I'll close that down. I'll just quickly take a look here. What we want now is a components folder. And we're only going to have one component, but if you are doing something like a design library or just some website, you'd obviously want to house your components in here. I'm going to create some styles in here too. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Card.js. So now we have our Card.js. There's a few things that we must do. I'm also going to create an index, because what I like to do is I like to be able to export them explicitly. So first things first, I will just export this so that I can just grab the card without having a reference. So for example, if I didn't export this now, let me export this quickly as a named export. If I didn't do this, you get a real, let's just close that. You get a real messy scenario where you do input card from. You'd have to do components and then card. And actually, let's not do card. Why did we export that? Index. Yeah, so we export it from index, and I'd like to be able to just do it like this here. So I don't like having to put card on there. I can just bring it in here, and let's see if we can test this now. Let's go ahead and just create a basic card component. So we'll just import React, and I'll just say export function card, and then we'll just do return hello. So we have that there now. We've imported the card, and do remember to subscribe if this was helpful. And there we are, we have hello. So if I didn't do the index.js file, I mean, if you had a card in here, then maybe you had a footer, you could just keep doing this, like footer, header, as opposed to doing footer, and then, you know, just defining them all the time, like so. So I much prefer doing it this way. Anyways, I didn't really want to get sidetracked on that, but let's go ahead and start creating the code. So we'll have a main in here, and we're just going to map over the movies. We have to import the movies from the data file that we just created. So import movies from data, and then we'll do a map over here. This is basically just a boilerplate, so feel free to skip this. This stuff is not boilerplate though. One thing you have to create is an app.scss file, so go ahead and create that. It's a fairly simple one. I've just brought in basically Roboto text. Roboto, is that how you say it? I can't quite remember. And that's pretty much it. I've just done some basic styling that I pretty much use on all my stuff. I haven't done any resets. I'm just going to do a .mr because I need a margin right in here. As I said, this isn't all about the CSS. We're just looking at the components, and this is the last time I'm going to touch this file. If you do wish to, I'll delete this setup test actually. If you do wish to take a look at the code, it's in the description. It's on GitHub. Feel free to follow me there too. Every video I do is in a repo over on GitHub. So next what we want to do, because each card, we want a margin on each card. So we'll do MR on that. So now we need to start basically building out our card, and this is where pretty much the I guess the compound component aspect comes in. So we'll do import class names, and if you're not familiar with class names, basically what it does, it gives you nice CSS class names that you can apply. So as opposed to doing like ternaries and all that stuff on class names, we can just use this. We can check for Boolean values. We're going to have to create styles actually, because we are using style components. One thing I did forget, but before we do that, let's bring in the card, and this is pretty much how I set up my compound components. I'll give it some classes as props, children, and then as opposed to passing a bunch of props, I just say rest props, and that's pretty much it. That's going to be the style we're going to use throughout. And I want to create a container here. This container is basically just going to render the children, and that's all it's going to do. The class name, I'm just going to say class names, which we are referring to up here. I'll close that down so you can see better. I'm going to give it a default of card, so it's always going to have card. And then I want the classes. So any additional classes that come down from the card. So if I pass in additional classes here, so for example, well, I'm not going to pass any down actually, but you know, if I wanted to pass any down, it'll just say, okay, that's true for you know, it's got a value in there. Let's go ahead and apply those, and then the rest of the props to the container. Next, since we are doing style components, and I don't want to get too hooked on the style components aspect, but let's just create a card.js, and we'll do input styled from styled components. And then I'm going to write these out, and I'll just apply the CSS quickly so you don't have to sit here. I'll say style div, export const, we need a body. You can just go as crazy as you want in here. Export const, because I'm building the card, right? So I have to kind of figure out what I want in there. So I'll do style.div. Actually, I don't want a div for the title h1. And it's supposed to type in that all the time. Let's just quickly do this. Text. Just put p. You can change these if you wish. You can use the as prop in style components, and you can manage a different attribute. We're going to set image. Button, and again, all the code for this stuff is going to be in the GitHub repo. So now what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to paste in the CSS, because I don't want you to be sat here whilst I go ahead and apply all this CSS, because it does take some time to write all that out. And just trust me that this is going to make it look nice. That's all I can basically say. Let's do that. We need a title. So I'll copy that. Then we need the text. I wonder how it's looking. Maybe we broke something already. The image I just want at 100%. And then the button's quite a big one, because I'm going to apply an on hover too. But feel free to steal this all from the GitHub. That's pretty much what I've done my entire career. So enjoy. So we have a container, body, title, text, image, button, and that's pretty much it for this particular file. We no longer need this file. So go back to card. Now we can start applying this. So pretty much the same. Let's just see how we're getting on here. Let's take a look. Class name. Okay, so we've got a class name set. Let's go ahead and do card.image. We're not going to be using the container just yet, because we have to pull in, well, the card's there, so it's going to pull in the container, but I was talking about more about the image. I'm going to pass in from here movie.image, and then alt movie.title, and just close that down. And then let's take a look. Container is not defined. That's good. Where is this coming from? Card.js. So we have to go in here, pull in our styles. So we'll do import container, body, title, text, image, button, and that's it. And we'll just say from styles card. Let's see, did I pull in container? Oh, here we are. Non-callable iterator. Okay, something's going wrong on the container. Let's take a look. Containers coming from there. We have the class name, class names, card, classes. Okay, I spot it. I have to close that off there. And and then we'll just say rest of the props, take down, and that should work. He says nervously it didn't work. Let's take a look in app, what's going on with the app. So we've got the card image. Let's just see if we can render. Hello. Okay, so we've got 3 cards. That means the card image is not working. I know why, but let's just put that back in actually. Simply because we don't have an image, so you can't access it. But okay, let's just start building this out now. So now what we're going to do, we're going to use a dot notation, and this is where actually our compound components start working its magic. So we'll do card.body, and we'll just say function card body, and basically what we're going to do from here on out is just copy this over, return, and the style component that we want to use is body, and from here we're just going to say pretty much just going to do the same. So we could actually just copy this, and if you see me copying and think maybe it's a bad thing, it's actually not. It saves you a lot of time. Don't get too hooked up on the programming aspect. It's we're not, you know, creating rockets here. It's I won't say it's trivial, but it's, you know, it's one of those things. I don't really want to get into it, but okay, let's do the title. Card body, that's wrong. Card title. That looks good. Title looks good. We'll soon find out if I've got any errors from copying, and I'll be apologising and saying I was wrong. Next, we're going to do the text. You can see how easy this is, right? It's pretty much just copy and pasting for having the ability to do manageable, I don't know what I'd call it, manageable building blocks. That looks good. Image. So this one's going to be a little bit different. Card title, card text, card image. But I mean, if you want to add, you know, different things in here, you simply just come in and go ahead and add one. It's so much easier than just creating like a different file, importing that stuff. It's much more manageable doing it this way. And it doesn't work in all scenarios. Like if you want to pass data around, you're going to have to use context, and it can get a bit messy. Let's say class name equals class names, card image, classes. And then lastly, I will say spread the props. So anything else, and you don't even have to use it all the time. I barely use it, to be honest. Got a little cheeky error somewhere in here. We'll soon figure that out. Card image, that looks good. Card body, yeah, we got that. Children, props. Probably somewhere up here. We'll soon find out. So refresh that. Source alt is not defined. Okay, perfect. Oh yeah, this one's gonna be a bit different actually, because it's an image, and with the image I actually do want some props, so that's why I'm gonna pass these down. So I'm gonna say source alt classes, and there's gotta be no children, right? Because we're just gonna like call the component and just close it immediately, so there's no children. You could have children if you wish in there. Let's see what's going on. Okay, we're doing okay there. That's not too bad. So we do have an image, and the last one we're going to be doing, and let's just type this one out. Card button, classes, children. It's the same, rest props. And the reason I like this actually is just because it's so readable. And you'll find in React some stuff is just not readable. Like if you've gone on holiday for a week and you come back and read some React code, sometimes it's quite hard. So don't look at code and think, oh my god, this guy or girl must have been a genius to write this. No, they probably looked at it about 5 times and, you know, thought they were really smart writing it. Then, like me, I've done this many times, come back to it and thought, wow, who wrote this? Realised it was myself who wrote it, and that I can't read the code anymore. So I played myself essentially. But yeah, don't do that. Just make it as readable as possible for not just you, but for also people you're working with. It's really helpful. card.body. And I remember when I mentioned that this does take children, so I was going to pass some children in there, and it's going to be smooth sailing from here on out. I'm literally just going to copy that down, text, and then for this one I'm just going to set a button, and all I'm going to do is just pass children, and the children being just a text, and that's pretty much it until I find the errors that are going on. Actually, there won't be any errors, and I know where it is right now because I've come across this multiple times. So let's take a look. CTR text. Let's take a look. Package, and there'll be an ESLint config that's extending React app. So if I save that, if the ESLint should be working now, and everything looks good. I'll save that, and it seems to have cleaned everything up. Brilliant. So let's have a look how we're doing. One thing that I did forget to mention is that we are going to have to import, let's have a look here. We're going to have to import, what was it we had to import? Oh, the style sheet. So the way to do this is, I don't know if you've used Node.js before, but essentially all it does is just allow you to do a simple import like, let's have a look here, App.scss, and it shouldn't go in there, so just take it out of there. Then come over here. I like to put it just about there. That looks good to me. There is one last thing we need to add in here, and that is a key to the card. So if we go ahead and just open up this and just say movie.id, and that's going to be coming from the data file, which is this, and this is never going to change, so it's okay to use this here. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Let's just go ahead and have a check. So here we are. This is the final result of the compound components that we just built, and we can just go into the React DevTools, and we can see, if I enlarge this, we have a key on each component of the card, and you will see our card image that gets pulled in, our card body, title, button. It's all there. Everything we built is all there. And the style.div, so we have a forward ref in there also, which I'll explain in the future. It's a bit out of context at the moment for this video. But if you want to dig more into compound components, do definitely look how you can use context throughout your compound components, because it's definitely helpful and it's definitely something that is worth knowing. I'm going to sign this video off now. If you did enjoy this video and you learned something from this video, please do like the video and let me know what you think of compound components in the comment section below. If you know any other sort of React design patterns, please comment below as well. Alert me of these. I want to know what they are, and also I like to interact with my subscribers. So it's quite nice to figure out who you are, what you work on currently. Do you have a project? Are you full time at a job, part time? Are you doing React or some other language? So yeah, if you enjoy this video, please do like the video and remember to subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.